Hello, everyone. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to a session on the importance of social media marketing for SMEs. For a smooth experience, I would request please close any background applications and rest back and enjoy the session. Thank you for joining in today. My name is Faraz bin Hilal and I will be your host for this session today. Today, we are going to talk about the importance of social media marketing for SMEs, and we'll also have an expert speaker who will give us some useful tips on how to create awareness on social media and some basic tips on how you can make social media a high return on investment driven channel. I believe there was a time when social media platforms were being used for sharing cute cat videos or keeping in touch with your friends. But today, there's been a considerable paradigm shift on how social media is being used for everybody. One of the articles that I was reading mentioned that there are about 3.5 billion people worldwide that have at least one social media account. And within that group, at least 54% are using social media platform for browsing new products and services. So the question is that how can you fight through the noise to surface your brand to potential customers? I believe by putting your brand directly in front of the right audience again and again. With this thought, let me introduce our today's speaker and my dear friend Ahmed Suleiman. Ahmed is the head of social media at ADIB, and he has worked on growing ADIB presence in the social media space. Today, he will be sharing some of his experience with us to help us understand how the social media can be used effectively for businesses. We'll also have a Q&A towards the end of the presentation, and I will let you know when you can start posting your questions in the chat. Over to you, Ahmed.
Good morning. Thank you for Ross for the introduction. Good morning, everyone. Hope you guys are like having a great day today. We're gonna start. We're gonna make this very quick. We're gonna talk about generally like a couple of points in social. The quicker I finish the presentation, the more time I'm gonna have for the Q&A session, which is basically what I want to get to very fast because I love that engagement. That conversation that we're gonna have eventually and talk about how to best manage social. Now, starting off with social, the first thing is that I need to look at is what kind of business I'm running and what is my audience, right? So can we move on to the first slide, please? Thank you. Who is your audience, right? And what can I serve them as a business, as an SME? You have B2B SMEs and you have B2C for customers SMEs. I'm going to discuss both points because both are like have different platforms. They have different audience base. They have different interests at some point in time. Even the time that they spend on social is slightly different. Can we move on to the next slide? Now, here, like when you look at this, we say that when buying a product and services, I always like to seek an expert opinion before purchase. That's 67% of your audience on social, of people existing on social. They want to see, what people think about a certain products before they go on and purchase them. You have 74% that try to fit as much as possible into their day. And these are the guys who don't actually sit down and scroll and read as much as they can. They're the guys who want, give me quick tips, like give me something quick that I can just like understand in a couple of seconds and then move on, make a decision and then move on. And then you have your third, which is basically it's as important to be well informed about things. That's your I'm going to take my time, see what's out there, go through videos that are like 2 or 3 minutes long. And then you have your fourth and your last, which is basically it's important to me to continue to develop new skills through life. These are the guys that are 87%. These are the guys who are looking for tips, right? Let's just call them tips and advices from experts or from those with the knowledge to give them or direct them through life. Next slide. So when we look at B2B versus B2C, what is the difference and how do I choose the best platform? Now, from when we look at Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp, even YouTube, these are platforms that are more personal and aimed that you spend on to see what your friends are doing. Like for us said at the beginning, these are the platforms that you spend your personal time after working hours. You sit down, you look at what's happening, what people are saying, what's happening in the news. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and WhatsApp. chatting with your friends as well. Now, going on Twitter and LinkedIn, these are the platforms that you use for networking, for business connections, for to stay on what's happening, updated on the industry news. These are like two separate audience base, two separate targeting. So for a B2B, you look at LinkedIn, for example, and Twitter to communicate with your audience best from business to another business, because this is what the audience goes on those platforms, on in these platforms to do. And then if you're looking for B2C, if you're selling fashion, if you're doing makeup, if you're doing restaurants, if you're a restaurant and want to promote your restaurant, it's best to go on Instagram, for example, Facebook, WhatsApp, and YouTube, right? Content, you have to create content that always influences your decision making. That's 88% of your strategy. You want to enhance your skills, that's 65%. And of course, the network, like we said, that's your Twitter and LinkedIn. You have 42% of people that use these platforms purely for networking and business connections. Next slide, please. Now, what's the best way for an audience to find your brand, whether you're selling B2B or B2C online? There are, of course, like the blue is basically your word of mouth and your recommendations from friends. That's always been the best way to market yourself. That's still going to be, I think, for a while at least, the best way to market yourself. And then you have your ads and your reviews, right? Let's say, for example, I find out about this restaurant or is this the store that's selling clothes online. I go and I see the reviews, or let's say I see the ad online, and then I see then I go check the reviews or what people are saying about you. That's also your a way to reach your audience, or for audience to reach you. Actually, that's how I like to put it. And then you have your search engine, your social media, and your websites. That's your third, base. So for B2B, we look at word of mouth and recommendations. For B2C, we look at ads seen online, we look at reviews, and we look at social. Social and websites and search engine are somewhere in the middle between those two, right? Next slide now. So social media content, yes, my favorite part. I'm always actually often asked, what is the best piece of content and how do you do a good piece of content / posting? What's a good post, right? How do I communicate my message? Now, I've asked this question myself when I started with experts. I even spoke to the platforms themselves. I was like, how do you, what's good content? Define it for me. And nobody can give you that answer. Not really. Like, Faraz actually said something really, really wonderful at the beginning. Is like, we used to use social to look at cute kitty pictures, to check out what our friends are doing. It's still like, I know there's a big conversation going on online that it changed a lot. Now it's businesses, advertisement, people will go for it, looking for news, looking for products to buy. That's true, but it's in terms of content, it's still that cute cat picture, the babies, the humor, right? Because what kind of content works on social? Humor and emotion definitely work best than anything else, in my opinion, right? So let's talk about content and how we can measure and decide on what piece of content you can make. Can we move on to the next slide? Right. There, I'm just going to sum up the B2B consumers. Here are some key insights. People go on the platforms to stay informed, to see what's happening. You give them a good piece of content, news, an announcement that you want to make. That's your LinkedIn and Twitter, because that's people are going to check you out. Okay, they look for brand discovery and information. With their professional network, they think and advise on crucial industry experts. That's the kind of information that your audience needs. For B2C, you look at your professional social network, you look at influencers, you look at search engine optimization for that kind of information. Next. The creative aspect. Now, so whenever you do a piece of content online, whenever you create a post, whenever you sit down and go like, hey, should I take a picture of a cat and post it and then people will like me and know about me? Or what should I do? Not the first one, for sure. When it comes to content, it's a more of a trial and error kind of thing, right? So I'll give you an example. As a restaurant, you can have a picture of a plate and say, hey guys, there's a 50% discount on this if you order it this Friday. you will not get that much engagement interaction. However, if you do the same, like a 3 to 5 second video, right, explaining the no, sorry, showing the plate, and then make another 30-second video explaining the context, the recipe of that dish, of that meal, you might get more interaction, because this is where people are curious. Now, would this work 100%? Again, it depends on your business, it depends on your restaurant, it depends on your environment and your audience. For it's best to always go with like the smaller video explanations, like quick videos that explain what the product is about, whatever the product is you're selling, whether it's fashion, whether it's makeup, whether it's even in the banking industry. That's exactly what we do in the banking industry. I'll give you like tips, just small tips. Here's the product, here's the message, here's what it does, here's how you should benefit from it. Apply now. Call to action. Simple as that. Because people don't spend too much time. You have like just few seconds to grab their attention. Your audience is scrolling. They're not like going to your homepage and watching the whole thing. They're scrolling their feed, right? They see what you're posting. They see what you're promoting even. They will stop if it grabs their interest. You have 1 to 3 seconds max. If they don't like what they see in the first 3 seconds, which are very crucial when it comes to content creation, then you have a problem, right? If they don't like it, they're gonna just keep scrolling. And that's when you lose them. So you lost an opportunity to get a new customer. Your first 3 seconds are always the best way to deliver the message, whether it's brand awareness, whether it's a product that you're selling, whether it's news or announcements. That's your first 3 seconds. And then you can move on to your regular, just like the least priority messages with your post. Because then the audience is like, okay, now your consumer is going to go like, okay, now I understand what's happening. Thank you very much. And whenever they pick it up, they're going to move on. So even if they didn't finish the whole video, they didn't read the full caption, they didn't go to the website, they got the message, they moved on. That doesn't mean you did not work. It did not work for your post did not work. It doesn't mean that. It also because you left something in their head. You left your image. Hey, if you ever think about buying that product, I'm your guy. That's where impressions come in, right? Impressions basically, for those of you who are still new to social, impressions are, the number of times you see the post. Okay, so basically you're carving your brand or your product in somebody else's head. That's how I'd like to explain. What is also important to know is that clever brand content integration with these creatives to create consistency in terms of identity and brand connection. And I love this line because it's not. I've seen businesses online that usually go big with one big campaign and then they just die out. They would spend 100,000 dirhams, 200,000 dirhams on a commercial or a video or even like a 1 week campaign, and then just crashes and burns and just dies out once they achieve their targets. That's not really. I mean, it is an approach. You can consider it if it suits you, but I'm more into consistency. Keep talking about it. Keep showing it. Let people know that you have this product. Let people know that that your brand exists. The more you build up your brand, the better, the more audience and the more engagement you will have. And this happens only through good content, right? Can we move on to the next slide, please? Now, engaging with the audience. So let's say I created that post that got the attention of my audience, and then my audience is starting to talk to me. Okay, what should I do? Sorry, they will ask you either a question or they will say, hey, why should I follow you? Now, I'm not very much against this, and for a while actually, and now I think the conversation changed. But for a while, I was told that it's not a best practice to make people like your page or engage with you because you're giving out a prize. Okay, that's in my experience, that's not really entirely true, because yes, people, when you look at content, when you look at a page on Instagram, for example, why should you follow it? Why should people follow you? This is the first question I ask myself. I'm a bank. Why should people follow me? To stay updated on information, but how much of them are going to follow me? I know that follower base is not really a metric to measure on. However, it matters. Tell somebody, walk down the street now, go like, hey, I'm a social media influencer. What's the first thing they're going to ask you? How many followers do you have? Right? So that's the thing. When you look at competitions, you're giving them a reason to follow you, and you're thanking them at the same time. Hey, thank you for the follow. Thank you for liking my brand. Thank you for engaging with my brand. And here's a prize. But you want to win it? Write a comment. I'm not against that practice at all. I think actually it works very well. I think it's a way to reach out to almost all your audience and the location or all your community in the location or the area that you work in, whether it's UAE or outside of UAE. And that's the best thing you can do. Maybe they don't need you. Maybe they already have a bank account. Maybe they already have a favorite barber. Maybe they already have a restaurant that they enjoy so much. They don't really look. But giving them these messages and sending them, hey, listen, you won a 50% discount. You won a meal for five in this restaurant today. Bring your friends and come over this weekend. It's not really. It's something that makes them that gets their attention, and that's when your journey, consumer journey, starts, because that's when you get them to like you. That's when you get them to stay with you, and that's when you get them to visit you more and more. Now, engaging with your audience leads to important brand goals, image, awareness. Exactly. The second type, my favorite type, is people who ask questions about your brand, about your product. And they're not engaging for a competition because you're giving them a prize. They're not engaging because you're giving them, a discount or meals for five or a new sofa for your furniture store. They're not engaging with you for that reason. They're engaging with you because they're interested. And can we move on to the next slide? The thing about this kind of audience is that they need to be handled with care, right? The thing that I believe, genuinely believe, that community management sits in the heart of social, right? You can do media buying, you can do promotions, you can do posts, you can create a great piece of content. But if somebody's asking a question and you're not answering them, if somebody's sending you a direct message and you're not answering, if somebody's thanking you, saying, hey, I've been to your restaurant, it's a great service, I love it, thank you, and you're not answering them, do you think they're going to come back and talk again and more? The best way here is to keep the conversation going. Every like, every heart, every emoji is answered with a love emoji, with a like. Every question is answered. Every complaint is handled in such care and such profession. See, when it comes to complaints and negative sentiment on social, it's not about answering, fixing the problem and stopping. It's about turning the negative into positive, right? I want that guy who just came and told me about his problem. Hey, I went to your shop. My car, the tires are not working. You did not take care of my car. Blah 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 blah. And they're like yelling because they're angry. People go on social to vent off. People go on social when the phone calls and the messages and the emails don't work. They want to go and bash you. They want to go and attack you on social media. So community management is in the heart of all of this, because you can make that angry customer or angry consumer happy. You can make him saying from you did this to me to thank you for helping me out. But that comes to your conversation, right? That comes to certain elements. How fast do you respond to the inquiry, to the complaint, to the question, to the positive sentiment, to the thank you? How fast do you respond to it? Okay. How quick are you to resolve the issue? How do you assess the problem as an agent? So, or sorry, as a community manager. So you sit down and you go like, let me give you an example I've been through. Hey, I bought a phone, it's not working and it's not charging, and you guys are this, you guys are thieves. Even the word thieves was used, and you have to like speak to your audience, the audience's language or accent. Even I went down to that level. So if you have an angry Egyptian, right? I am one, so not the angry part, the Egyptian part. So if you have an Egyptian, for example, coming to you, you did this in the Egyptian accent, you did this, I'm complaining. You need to, I think it's best if you answer them in that accent, right? So that they feel familiar with the person they're talking to, and then they, it helps eases or reduces the damage that that your customer is trying to do to you online. Okay, so again, think about turning negative into positive. And there's a great case study here when it comes to community management, because if you look at most of the conversation that's happening now in community management, how do we do it? How do I get somebody? Because when you look at call center agents, they have a script, they answer, they tell you this is what the solution, we're going to give you that in 2-3 days, and then they hang up. When you look at call center agents, their KPI is to solve this quickly, but not to talk properly. Not the talk properly, not to go the extra mile because they have other people watching. It's easier for them, like, hey, sorry, this is the problem, we're going to fix it for you, we're going to do our best, have a great day. But when it comes to social, you have to have that mentality that you're not talking to that customer only. You're talking to everybody else who's going to go on your page and read what you do and what people say about you and how you're responding to them. Therefore, your approach has to be a little bit extra. right? There's a great case study I was saying in Egypt, actually, in Vodafone Egypt. They did not hire the call center agents and taught them and started teaching them how to do social media community management. They hired social media managers and then taught them the technical. It's very hard to teach somebody how to have a conversation with a customer online. You can give them a script, you can tell them this is what you do, but then eventually it's up to the community manager to respond and to diffuse the situation very quickly, right? And to raise it in the right areas. The speed of response, how he responds, the accent, like we said, even the thank you, right? If somebody's angry at you and like you're like, yeah, don't worry about it, got you covered, we're very sorry, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, and to throw in a bonus, we're gonna do that. You need somebody who's very social in normal life, so that they become social with your customers on social media. And Vodafone Egypt did exactly just that. And I love that case study, to be honest. It was published by Facebook a couple of years back. They hired social media managers to do customer service. They taught them the technical, and they're like, sit down and talk. No restrictions, no, just basically measurements of how fast they respond, how fast they solve the issue, and that's all they cared about. And it was a major success. It turned I don't really remember the percentage, but it turned like I think about 40% negative into positive. And that's exactly your KPI when it comes to community management. So remember, community management sits in the heart of social every time. Now, so can we move on to the next slide, please? Effectiveness on social media. Be sure that social media is extremely effective. The way you talk to your customers, the way you advertise yourself, the way you carry yourself out. It's like being part of a community. There's the conversation we're going to go back to is basically that social is changing. You were there to follow your friends, now you're there to shop. But think of your brand as an influencer. I'm not going to say your friend, but somebody that wants to be a part of your community and deal with it based on that. That's how effective social media can be. That's where you develop trust. That's where you develop loyalty. That's where you develop awareness. Simple as that. Next slide, please. Now, influencers on social media. That's like it's a very, how do I say this in very nice terms? Influencers are actually great when it comes to choosing the right influencer for the right brand, for the right audience, with the right audience, with the right demographics as well. Influencers may backfire in case that it does not match your brand identity, it does not match your target audience. If I am to, storytelling is the best piece of content that you can create. Sorry, user-generated storytelling, user-generated content actually is the best content that you can make. Somebody else talking about you, coming on, experiencing your restaurant, experiencing your tire shop, experiencing your store, and then they talk about you. Go like, hey guys, this is what I got. This is amazing, because they're advertising you to their friends. But what happens if the influencer has like an argument with one of the audiences about your brand? That's also a backfire. So it's a very, like, you have to be sure, that you manage this properly, and you have to have that, how do I say this? You have to have that skill to to try to maintain the influencer user content. Like example, if you use an influencer, they post something about you and somebody's complaining about you to them, you need to go and answer on that page, on the influencer's page, and say, hey, we're sorry, can we help you out with this? Can we help you out with that? You need to do that. It's not just the influencer did the ad and then you stop and then you watch what people are saying. You need to go and engage with his audience as well, right? You need to check his audience or her audience and see where they're from. Are they in the region that you want them to be in? Do they have the age? The demographics are correct. Do they match your brand? Okay, next. Sorry, guys, I'm taking too much time, I know, but I promise you I'm going to finish like in the next, hopefully, 10 minutes. Now, so social media strategy. I think there's only 2 sections, I think 2 or 3 slides each, so we're almost there. Social media strategy. How do I develop a good social media strategy? Can we move on to the next slide? Yeah, so you need to look at creating awareness on your brand. You need to have authority, and you need to reach out to potential audience. What does that mean? I need to ensure my presence on social exists. I need to ensure that my brand exists to people. People can see my brand. They understand what I do, right? And then you have to have authority. So let's say, for example, you need to be the person or the brand that they look up to when it comes to gaining information. Okay, so I want to get, I want to go to, let's say, fix my car, right? You need to make sure that your image, not just your brand, is there. I know shop XYZ does cars, does can fix my car, but you need to ensure that to appear as a person of authority, as a person who knows what they're doing, and this is exactly the price for it. This is the experience that you're gonna have. This is how much it should last you. You need to have that image with your audience so that they trust your judgment, and they trust your shop or your brand, and then they come and work with you. Then look at you reach out to potential audience to ensure that your brand is there. You create opportunities for potential customers to share their details for getting more information on leads. What does that mean? If I reach out to a brand, if I reach out to an audience and they're interested, they fill up, you gather their email addresses, their age, their nationality, and then you have a database, and that's where you can, retarget them again with different ads with different products. I hope this is clear so far, guys, but I can't wait for the question and answer session. Can we move on to the next one? Yeah, so there are two consumers online. Let's say B2B and B2C again, back to that point. You have your niche consumers and you have your mass consumers. Your mass consumers are the one interested in fashion and food. These are the guys who, look up what to do in Abu Dhabi when I visit Abu Dhabi, right? That's your mass audience. Then you have your niche audience. This category of consumer is very specific, not to everyone. They're looking for certain things, right? They're making business decisions as they go along. So they see a post and they're also already in their heads, they're making a business decision. Okay, so they're not just like scrolling and seeing what's out there. They're in for with a purpose. That's that. They have two different messages. Okay, this is basically the best two categories I think we can divide for your SMEs, for SMEs in general. Next slide, please. There are the three C's formula. The last thing I'm going to talk about. The three C's formula is basically your consumer, your channel, your context. I need to know what kind of consumers do I want? What kind of consumers fit my brand? I sell phones. I sell cars. I sell clothes. Okay, so let's say, for example, I'm a shop that sells clothes. My product is served for 18 to 24. The best way to sell my product is to be on a channel that allows me, that gives me that range when it comes to audience. So 18 to 24, that's mostly your Instagram right there. Arabic speakers, still your Instagram. They love to see visuals because I show dresses, I show suits. That's still your Instagram. So you look at your audience, where to find them best on this channel, for example, and then you look at the content you're going to serve them. These are your three C's. These are the main three elements when it comes to advertising and brand on social. Media buying, moving on next, please. Yeah, so this is media buying. Now, we've discussed the engine, let's say. Now, how do I put it out there? How do I accelerate? You create brand awareness. You look at, like we said, you look for mass consumers. You look at Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. For niche consumers, you look at LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube as well. If I want to talk thought leadership, if I want to prove authority, remember authority? If I want to show authority, I want to show that I'm a brand that you can trust and you can listen to. Again, that's your YouTube, your Facebook, your Instagram for mass audience. For niche consumers, that's your LinkedIn and YouTube, rather than Twitter. Why not Twitter? Because Twitter, basically, like we said, just announcements, quick pieces of information, a status update, what's happening very quickly, and then they move on. But you want to show authority, you want to give tips, you want to give advice, you need to have articles, you need to have videos that talk about you, that talk about yourself as a brand, and to show that you have thought leadership. That's your LinkedIn and your YouTube, right? And then you have conversion. How do I convert? How do I make that person who just saw me, the audience who just saw me, convert and become a loyal customer to me? You look at your WhatsApp. This is because you talk to them, community management. That's your Facebook also because you talk to them for mass audience, and your Instagram because you still talk to them and you can engage with them, right? You can convert them, you can do ads, click on the link, visit the website, fill up your information, apply for the product, and leave, and then we'll call you. Simple as that. But for B2C, B2B, for niche consumers, that's your WhatsApp, that's your LinkedIn. Again, to stay up to date on what's happening as an expert, and then to talk to you. Okay, I'm interested in buying your solution for my company. And then you have that conversation. So that's your WhatsApp as well. Can we move on to the next? Again, media buying to create awareness. Okay, as a brand, you look at different objectives. You know, when you do your promoted posts online, you need to ensure that you select the right objective. So if you're looking for awareness, you look at, you know, general posts, pushing it out there to your to reach as many people as you can, and they know about you know about their brand. And like we said, remember when we explained impressions, they see your brand over and over again, and they know that it exists. That's your targeting when it comes to just I want to do awareness. I want people to know about me. That's it. I don't want to show authority. I don't want to convert them yet. I just want to know. I want them to know that I exist. That's when you do impressions. That's when you push your product out. Sorry, your brand out there. You make people see you. You make people understand that you do exist. And that's when you focus on impressions, because you're carving your brand in the back of their heads and the brain. They know that you exist. Now, when it comes to thought leadership, when it comes to showing authority, when it comes to showing I'm the person that knows what they're talking about, so I can sell you my products, I can gain your trust. That's basically, you look at your objective should be traffic to website. Your objective should be engagement and cost per click. I want people to know, I want to engage with them. I push an ad or a post, I promote it because I want to get people to engage with me and ask me questions, and I respond to them. And I also want to direct them to the website where they can see the full information and then eventually apply for that product once they're convinced. Conversions, you look at driving leads, that's the objective, your cost per click and your cost per lead. So you do ads that are basically focusing on, hey, I'm going to pay the platform once they give me, once I get the lead. They're a bit more expensive than the others, but that's basically to apply now. Give me your details and we'll call you so you can, so you can purchase the product. Next slide, please. Understand your consumers, guys. Again, I'm just repeating myself here like a broken record. Look at your audience, see what they do, create your list, collect your data, collect data about this audience, collect and retarget them again, and then again, and then again, and see where the areas are. Try to figure out where the gap is and then try to fill that gap, because it's all about user journey, really. I saw an ad for you on social. I clicked on the ad. Where did I go next? And then who called me? And then how they managed me and how they fulfilled my how they fulfilled my need to get this product. So it's always about understanding your consumer, your contact lists, your account lists, and then your website audience. Of course, this all helps you collect data, where you can look at it and break your audience down and then create products that's suitable for them, right? Can we move on to the next slide as well, please? I think we're almost done here. And yes, remember, guys, you don't need big budgets to do social. I don't need 1 million. I don't need 100,000. You only need good pieces of content, the right approach, the right engagement, and if you're going to use influencer, the right as well. Okay. Now, thank you very much. I think we're done. Yeah. Thank you guys very much. I hope this was informative, and fire away with your questions.
Thank you, Ahmed. This was really interesting. I think you can start posting your questions using the chat, and I will pick it up and post them to Ahmed. Ahmed, I have one question for you from Zohaib Wakkar.
Yeah.
How should companies measure their social media marketing success? There are two parts to this question. First is, how can they measure their social media marketing success? And the second part is, what type of social media content converts best? And what are some common social media marketing mistakes businesses make?
Love that question. Love that question. So to your first piece, Zahib, how do you measure your social media success as a company? And I'm telling you now, it's your sentiment online, right? How many people talk good about you? How many people talk bad about you? And how many people are neutral to you? It's your sentiment online. It's your performance against your competition, how much interaction you get against, your competition in the market. It's how many leads you get, and what kind of content do you create. So if I, for example, create an ad about or a post that just says a cute cat, I still love that reference for us, by the way. I still watch cute cats online, that's why. So if I have a cat that has your brand in the background, and then you achieve your awareness and somebody engages with it, you answer them, all of these elements that we spoke about, understanding your audience, that's how you measure your success. And how much of it is giving me money back. Because they asked me a question, I answered them. I posted a relevant piece of content that they found interesting and they liked. This is all success, measurements of success to you, right? How I dealt with the negative also. as a measurement of success on social. I got a complaint. I got somebody who's very angry, who's not happy, and he ended up saying thank you. That's turning your negative into positive, like we said, and this is extremely important because I genuinely believe that community management sits in the heart of social. It's all about. It's called social media. It's called communication, community management, talking to people. If you don't talk to your audience, you lose that game, right? So to your second part, what type of social media content converts best? That will depend on what works for you. You can post a photo, man. I looked at, for example, JP Morgan, and their social channel. They post a view from New Zealand. Good morning, everyone. And people like it and engage with it. Look at the Chase Bank, for example, in the US, they talk about financial education. Look at restaurants, what they talk about. I think it really depends. You have to try and test and see what works, what gets you the likes and the comments and the positive, and keep doing that. There's no doubt. The second piece of advice I'm going to give you is that you need to focus on user-generated content. The better people talk about you, genuine experience, and pick the right people to talk about you, the better your content is, because that's not even your own content. They generated it for you. They came to your restaurant, they came to your shop, they came to your bank, they said nice things about you, and you just reshare it on your page and say, hey, look at what people are saying. You need to come. That's also best content for me. That's what worked best for us as a brand, and I think it's still working for other brands as well. For your last piece, what are some common social media marketing mistakes businesses make? Ignoring their customers, not looking and analyzing the data correctly, because it's all about data analysis, and keeping that consistency up. You need to keep doing what you're doing over and over again. Don't stop. If it's working, keep doing it. Keep doing it. Try to develop, try to grow. I think businesses usually just like, oh, poof, we did it. Yeah, that's it. And then they stop. And then you see them again next year. It's best to just keep carving your brand and your products in your consumer's head. Keep that image out there. Tell them, hey, I'm here. Hello, I'm still here. I'm still here. You need anything? I'm still here. Can I help you? This is the best way for me. It worked perfectly for me. I hope this answers
Yeah,
your question.
yeah, Ahmad, and I'm still here too. Next question for you is from Sattapan Ramaswamy. He is asking, can the SMEs count on generating organic traffic towards their businesses using current social media marketing tools? And what best practices to keep updating ourselves in this regard?
Amazing,
What
amazing.
are your
This is
thoughts?
like hardcore. This is like he's going straight for the kill, and I love that, right? So organic content, yes, it's you can still measure your content based on organic performance. It still works, but I think we all know after 2015 the whole game changed when it comes to social. So, because it's not just content is like the way the car looks like, organic content, and media buying and promotions is the engine. I still do believe that if your post is generating likes and comments, that's the post you need to promote, because that's what people need to know. That's when people know about you. If organic, if a few people liked it and they loved it, and it's your best performing organically, promote that, because you will still get brand awareness, right? But in some cases, because when you look at businesses, and that's a mistake that they do, it's like, okay, promote the ad for me about this product specifically, but they don't look at the organic performance of the post, right? Organic performances can be CSR, can be just a good morning message. You know, you post on your page and everybody's saying good morning to you. Post a product, two people are interested, right? So you need to still push that good morning post. That's what I believe, because that's when you generate your brand. You're still communicating and connecting. When they need you, they'll come back to you. Understand that there's so much content on social media. There's trillions of pieces of content, and you're fighting for your spot in that small area. Organic is going to help to understand at the beginning, but you still need promoted. You still need to do. You need to keep pushing your products. You need to do media buying. That's the engine. But whatever works for you. I'm sorry. What was the second part of the question?
And what are the best practices to keep updating ourselves in this regard?
Best practices is to just keep looking what's happening with the industry professionals. I follow. I'm on Facebook developers. I look at I got my partners with me. They keep updating me every couple of months, because you don't always have the time, and I get it. It's a very busy field. I mean, social is 24/7. There's not like, oh, I have days off. There's no days off. You have to stay updated. It's a very busy field, but you can always look at follow a couple of pages that give you tips. Check out Facebook developers, check out stay connected. Actually, even your account manager at Facebook, your account manager at LinkedIn, because you have to have an account manager, and they will update you on what's happening and ensure that you want to be updated so that they keep that relationship going with you. And then that's the best way to do it, to be honest.
Great, great. Another question coming from the audience, Ahmed, is that how can social media help small businesses gain followers?
How can small social media help small businesses gain followers? It's there is
Yeah, Ahmed,
so
because the thing is that small businesses sometimes can be where only one or two people are doing the businesses, and there's not too many people running the entire business.
that's true. So too many people running the entire business, just two people. Man, look, I'll be honest. If I'm gonna tackle that question, I'm gonna tell you that you cannot have a team of two handling a base. You cannot do customer service. You cannot answer checkout leads, stay updated, performances, social content. It's very hard, and it depends on how much of the audience you have. I'd like to measure if I have 10,000 fans and I have high engagement, I need to hire people that are able to answer that, to answer or communicate or deal with it. But it will depend on your business. It will depend on your base. It will depend on. I wish we can have this conversation one to one, so I can look at your performance and I can give you the best advice. But there are so many elements to consider here. But what you need to always keep an eye on is that you don't want to lose the conversation and you don't want to lose that lead. And therefore, you need to make that decision and say, I need to get somebody to do this and this and this and that. Now, gaining followers and per se on the page itself, there are methods, like we said in the presentation. There's competitions that you can do. There's just happy birthdays, man. If you have a customer data, you know your birthday of your customer, for example, you're just gonna say, hey, good morning, happy birthday. You want to come see us? And then take that Instagram story and then show that you're celebrating this customer's birthday for free, maybe, right? And then they will go and talk to other
Right.
people about you. That's the best way, I think. Yeah, that's
I
what I
think,
believe.
and just to add from what you said, being consistent is very important. So
Definitely,
even if you are having a post today, is something that you can build on from there.
always.
Okay, let's move on to the next question, Ahmed. The next question is from Joseph, and he is asking, can you advise for a startup company for a proper approach in engaging the social media that will lead to their sales lead and also generate more potential customers?
That depends on your business, Joseph. That depends on the industry that you're in, right? The best approach is to have. I'm sorry, I'm sounding like a broken record here. I'm so sorry. What works for you? Try out different things. Look at what happens. If I wish you can tell me what kind of business you have, Joseph. But like, the thing is, like, let's say, for example, I sell flowers. I'm a flower shop, right? The best approach for me would be creating stories, would be giving the experience, like we said, user-generated content to promote my business. If I'm a bank, nobody is really that much interested in me. I need to do competitions. I need to do CSR. I need to tell people that I'm part of their community. So the best approach, ensure that you are part of the community. And I know this is like an extremely big area. It's like, what does that mean? That's a very general statement, I know, but ensure that you show that you're part of the community. That get feedback from the consumers and get feedback from your analysis team. Put them both together and then make that decision. But I hope we can do this again. Hopefully, once COVID is over, we can do it face to face, and I can answer your questions live, because that's when I get more information and I can give you a better advice. But for now, I'm just going to go ahead with the general one because I don't want to damage your business by mistake.
Okay, and the next question is that which is the most appropriate method for businesses for social media marketing? So I think what he's trying to ask Omar is that which will be the most appropriate medium for him to choose in the social media page.
For social media marketing, appropriate method. I think it's very similar to the question before. It depends on your audience. How do you select? Okay, first of all, if you're doing B2C, look at the audience, the demographics that you're looking to target, and then pick the platform. 18 to 24, for example, go on Instagram. You're looking for Arabs more than, Emiratis and Arabs more than expats, go to Instagram. If you're looking for expats more, non-speaking Arabs, you can go on Facebook and Arabs as well. So there's so many elements that you need to consider before deciding, which platform you can go onto, and then you start creating that content. You look at your competition, you look at the global references that you have, you look at what others are doing, and then you start jumping the game, and then hopefully just learnings,
There's a
learnings,
learning
learnings.
learning
All
curve.
about data.
There's
It's
a,
all about
yeah,
data and learnings. If you don't have a good analysis skills, work on that like right now, because social is all about analyzing and not just like, I'm sorry, I'm going to take a couple of minutes to answer this. The businesses usually look, oh yeah, look at me. This is what people are saying about me. This is how we're going to create the content and just come up with the idea. When you look at, when you create something, piece of content for social media, look at it from a user's perspective. That's what I always tell myself whenever I see something. Will I stop and watch this? Will I stop and watch this? If yes, then okay, I'll go with it. I'll agree to it. Will other people stop and watch this? If yes, I'm going to continue. But if other people don't, I don't think they will, because they're not everybody's similar. It's the same. We're like, okay, maybe I need to improve it to look like that more. So there are so many, like, so many methods that you need to use when it comes to creating content, when it comes to choosing the platform, when it comes to target audiences. The more learnings you have, the better you will do. Yani just experiment until you figure out the recipe that works for you. And I'm sorry to say this, but not everybody that speaks in this field, including myself, is always correct. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Go with,
There are
go, with,
always,
go with your knowledge, because nobody knows your brand better than you. Nobody's going to give you information better. You know what's happening. We don't know. You know your personality as a brand. We don't know, right? So listen, get the opinion, get the advice, but at the end of the day, if it makes sense to you, do whatever works for you. That's the best thing I could say to you.
and maybe user test on a small sample.
That too. That too.
Okay. Just for the audience perspective, that we have too many questions, so we are just randomly picking up some of the questions. Ahmed, we have one question from Shea Dawood. Do you want to read it out?
Yes. Oh, it's in Arabic. Yes, let me check that one out. السلام عليكم. التسويق أصبح الكثير من مواقع التواصل الاجتماعي، من قد نسيت أنه فكرة مشروع صغير تسويق مواقع التواصل لكن يكون نجاح تسويق مرتين الأمانة خلينا نخاف عن الشكر. Okay, so Omar basically, Share is saying that there are so much pieces of content out there, so many strategies. How do I grab my best audience? And how do I ensure that they trust me as a brand and they always come back and they're not scared of me? Because we know that there's a lot of fake product selling. Influencers are like fake influencers. There's so many problems that comes with social as well, rather than just the positive. There's always a negative side, there's no doubt. So he's asking, how do we do this? And I'm going to go back to saying community management, content pieces, a relationship, the way your consumer showing up at your business, how you treat them. All of these elements, if done right, I'm not going to say perfectly, if done right, this is how you eliminate all the fear, because that's when they trust you. That's the only thing you really need, for them to trust you so they can go talk about you and share their experience. If somebody comes and complains, manage it quickly. Community management is the best way to develop trust, I believe. It's the best way for others to see how you are, because I've seen it so many times in different banks and different industries. Oh, I read the comments. I was going to join this brand. I read the comments. I changed my mind. That's a loss. That's not trust, and that's a lot of fear, right? The best way to do this, Sheed, is basically just community management. Again, speak properly, go quickly, solve the issue quickly, and give him a bonus if they're still still complaining. Just give him something that helps them out. Always make them comfortable.
Okay, time for last two questions now. Ahmed, one more question coming from Omar is that how can I study social media marketing for small businesses? Maybe he's
Oh no,
more
you
on
can
how
look
he
at,
can educate
yeah.
himself for.
No, there's so many stuff online that you can see. I started off, honestly, Omar, with the Facebook Blueprint, and then I moved on to Coursera. I was just going into social media advertising. I went on LinkedIn Learning as well. I started getting a couple of courses, and there's don't look at articles much. Try to listen to industry experts more, because that's where you get your knowledge. The best way to learn, honestly, social, is to try. Get in the business,
Experiment.
yeah, get the information, and then you will learn by yourself.
True. I agree. Another question, Ahmed, coming is that do you recommend for small businesses to use influencers to market their business? Interesting.
Yes, but be sure when you select an influencer, you know enough information. Look at their content, look at their demographics. I've seen influencers that are UAE based and their demographics are in Iraq. They have 1 million followers. Wow. But 90% of them are sitting in Iraq, Afghanistan, Pakistan, India. They're not your audience. They're not here in the UAE. You're trying to sell to somebody in the UAE. So this influencer is not good for you because he's talking to that audience in that country. He's not talking to your audience in the UAE once he posts about you. Yes, he will get your likes and comments, but what are you going to do with them? How are they going to help you? He's sitting in a different country. He cannot buy your product. Or maybe he can, right? So you look at your demographics, your target audience, and you try to pick the right influencer. If you can ship your product overseas and you want to sell it in the US, look for somebody with a high US base that speaks Arabic. It's a very picky process selecting the influencer you're going to work with. It's a very dangerous game. You need to do it 100% full on, and this is where your focus should go. Influencers are great. They talk about you. This is the user-generated content that we said. They can get you followers and fans, and people love your experience just because they spoke about you. That's a lot of power right there, and I love it. Then again, picking the right influencer for your brand is the most crucial. His content, what his audience thinks of him, how many likes and comments is he getting. So you need to analyze another page before you go and work with that influencer. It's a lot of work, but if done right, again, it can get you a lot of success.
Okay, for our last question for today is from Mahmoud Khamis. He's asking that is it good after fixing the problem for the customer to go back to him in the public and ask him if it has been fixed, or to let him leave a positive reply?
Love it. Love it. That's a how-to. That's a how-to right there. So yes, but not to ask him, is the problem fixed? Because not always they're going to answer you. And it depends on the community manager skills. You can tell what kind of personality you're dealing with. And if you feel like he's not going to say the thank you, don't ask him the question. Say like, hey, again, we've solved that. We hope you solved out your problem. If you need anything else, please come back. That's also going to get him to say thank you. But the point here is to try to show that the problem has been solved in such a small time. But that will depend on your community manager, how his social skills are, because they can tell, okay, this guy probably is not going to say thank you based on experience. So let me tell him that it's been solved. And if you feel like, okay, he's manageable and he's being nice and polite and he's telling you have a problem, you solve it. That's when you can say, okay, is this fixed? Are you okay with it? All done? Yeah, happy? Thank you. I will say thank you for sure. So it depends. Again, community manager selection. That's if you do it properly, trust me, you're never gonna have to worry about trust and fear, and people are gonna love you more because you're hiring. They're your brand talking, right? So yes. Ending the conversation, you have to inform everybody, not just the customer. Inform everybody that this has been solved. How to do it? That depends on the situation. I hope I answered your question, Mahmoud.
Yeah, no, thank you, Ahmed, for sharing your experience and knowledge. I think it was very informative. I know our audience is eagerly waiting for the draw. But before that, I would like to have a quick look at some of the innovative recent digital related products that ADIB launched. So we launched recently a platform which will enable our business elite customers to fill their account opening applications from the comfort of their home or their offices. And additionally, the RM will be present with the customer to help him fill this form. The only eligibility for this is that we would like to look at customers who are business elite customers who would maintain a balance of AED 500,000 or more in their accounts. So let's have a quick look at this video.
Welcome to ADIB Business Banking. We offer innovative digital banking solutions to grow your business. You can now open your elite business account from your office or home in 5 simple steps. Step 1. Start your journey with us by scheduling a session with an ADIB Relationship Manager, RM. Attend a video session with the RM and set up your account. Step 2. Log into the session using the URL and PIN sent by ADIB to your registered business email ID or mobile number. Step 3. Confirm your identity by uploading your passport and Emirates identity card. Step 4. To open an account, upload your business documents, including trade license, memorandum of association, and proof of address. Your RM will then guide you through filling and completing your account opening forms. Step 5. You will be asked to upload your signature and insert the one-time password when prompted. And just like that, the fully digitalized onboarding process for your new ADIB business account is complete. To open your digital business banking account today, call us at 02-657-8777. Email us at bbdleads@adib.com or visit adib.ae/business. ADIB, connect today, grow your business tomorrow.
I think this will definitely help our customers to save some time. And with that, another product that we launched was the Business Connect account, which is specifically for businesses or new entrepreneurs or small businesses that are over an year old with very low monthly charges of 100 AED only. And there is no minimum balance required for this package. So with this, I would just take a few seconds and see if we have any questions. In case you have any questions, please post them in the chat so that I can answer them before we move on towards our last section. Okay, so one of the questions that I got from the audience is that what are the main features for the Business Connect account? See, the main features is that you get an online banking so that you can do all your transactions online and you don't have to visit the branch. There is no minimum balance requirement and you only pay 100 AED per month for this type of account. I think this is a great product for small businesses who are new businesses. One more question coming from the audience is that for the digital platform that we just saw the video for, is the account opened instantly? So yes, what happens is that if you schedule a session with the RM to submit your application, we submit your entire application, including your documents in one go, which takes just about 30 minutes to complete the entire application. Thank you guys. So in the interest of time, I think we are towards the end of our Q&A round. Thank you so much for being so patient with us. I know everybody is waiting eagerly for the raffle draw, so it's time for the raffle draw. I think let's go ahead, run, and look who's our first winner for today. Okay, I think the raffle just started running now. Okay, so our first winner for the MacBook is Kennedy Agnew. Congratulations, Kennedy. I think we can start running it again. Our second winner for the day is Syed Farooq bin Hassan. Congratulations to both the winners, and thank you everybody for participating. I think this was a very informative session. If you would like to know more detail about ADIB Business Banking, please visit our website, adib.com, or please contact our Business Banking Contact Center number at 02-657-8777. As we come to an end, many thanks and thank you for attending and participating in this engaging session. I'm looking forward to having more useful and fruitful sessions. Thank you, everybody, and have a great day.